Hey guys, Stay Loose here again on the daily production stuff. So I got a lot of DMs asking about doing songwriting stuff, mixing, mastering, songwriting, song structure. I get a lot of people asking how I start a song or write a song, and it changes all the time. So sometimes it's done with guitar, sometimes I start with a beat, sometimes I start with a vocal melody. Sometimes it's a sample and chopping it up. Today, since I already have this guitar in my hand from filming the last video bit, I'm just gonna do a little bit of free form creative process. And I think it's important when you go in to start writing music to not think too much about it. You know, maybe you sit down, you already have an idea in mind or like a sound you're after. Um, But I think for me, it's really important to just kind of flow of consciousness and just kind of let things happen as they should. Because I feel like the most honest music and your best music is going to come out of that type of flow. Not always, but in my experience, anytime I sat down and like, I'm going to make a trap banger today, like, it 90% of the time doesn't happen. And if it does, it sounds like generic garbage and have wasted, a couple hours on it and end up throwing it away. And honestly, all of my songs that I've released or that have, really done well or gotten any traction were all things that all things that kind of came out of nowhere, and it was just like a stream of consciousness. A lot of times, stuff with like just hanging out with friends and we're just messing around writing something together. Things that had like no pressure. And honestly, a lot of it was stuff that I never thought I would release because it was too different. And I never honestly thought anyone would like. And anything I've ever done where I was like, hey, I'm kind of make this song that's down this lane and people are gonna like it, and like that shit doesn't work. Like, that's maybe if you're already established, huge, massively huge artist, that's gonna work because let's be honest, artists at that level could shit on a microphone and throw it in a bucket of rocks and sell it as art, and people will be convinced that it's the greatest thing ever because the artist isn't selling people music that they like. They're selling them a product that is just an extension of their personal brand. So just don't have too much pressure when you make music. Just think about that. What you're doing, it really doesn't matter. If you're lucky, people are going to listen to your. If you're lucky, people are going to listen to half of your song once at all. And if you're really lucky, they're going to come back and listen to it twice. And if you're really, really, really lucky and it's really, really good, then you'll build mega fans and they'll keep coming back and listen to it over and over and over and over and over. Anyways, enough rant. Let's try to come with some guitar licks. Um, Maybe just something easy like that. Let's just do something really easy. And I gotta think about what tempo I was playing that at. So maybe it's like a 77 or something. Maybe it's a little bit quicker, huh? So I always play things really shittily, and typically they don't make any fucking sense. So that repeats over 6 bars. And it's played like dog shit. And I'm just moving around till I kind of like the groove over the click. Give a fuck. Like, I literally don't give a shit. Because, like I said, no pressure songwriting. Just play stuff, do stuff, don't analyze it. Hey, everyone else is going to judge this shit. You don't need to. Because I'm lazy, I'm not even going to replay that in there. Cool, so I kind of got like this nice little guitar thing going on here. And I just like to stack loops, basically, when I'm making things. You guys are literally seeing a flow here. I'm not edited, not thought about this shit beforehand or anything. So, it's a C. Oh, is it? C sharp, my bad. Duh. So, C sharp major. This rolls over to F. F sharp, my bad. I'm kind of a dummy sometimes with it. Oh, my bad. It's all weird too. I forgot it repeats over the bars weird. Anyways. Whoops, B. Since this is like so rolled in with the guitar, I'm just gonna like make these all these chords kind of roll in too. Whoop. The fuck I'm doing. And this one's gonna roll in as well. Cool. Duplicate that. Chords are super stock right now, so I'm gonna just kind of switch that up a little bit here. just like to resample them. I like to pitch them down. Reverse all the piano chords. Whoops. It's not on the grid, so I can't fucking do it like that. I forgot. So to get in here a little closer. You see how loose this music is that I'm making? If everything's on the grid all the time, it's gonna suck. If you make music that way, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm saying that it's going to suck. But it's just the reality of it. It takes a lot more effort, in my opinion, to make something that's just constantly on the grid cool. Kind of like a Radiohead vibe a little bit on this. Pretty tight. So yeah, if you make your music sound a little bit off the grid, you know, if you play your instruments in, let mistakes be mistakes. Don't try to draw everything onto some like 4/4 grid all the time. Like, just stop that shit. That shit's rinsed. It's whack. We've seen it. We've done it. Everyone's seen it and done it. And like I said, if you're doing that, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean at all. And I've made so much music that's like smack dab on the grid too. Like, we've all got to start somewhere. So you guys are like, stay loose, that sounds out of nowhere. No, that was a bass sound from a previous session, and it's a really simple one. See, look, it's just one oscillator with 3 voices and some filter, and that's it. Drums right now. You want to see something crazy? Those aren't hats, those are snares. Because you know what was dope about old drum machines? Every sample was not... Every time you hit the clap button on like an 808, it was never the same clap. It was always pitched around differently, and that's what made those things have so much magic. And now when everyone just picks like, this is my snare sample, and then they drag it in, and then they put it all... It's just, they just duplicate the same sample over and over and over and over, and that does work. Like, it'll get you by, but in my opinion, it doesn't... It makes it harder to get things to sound like they're moving around and having dynamics, as to where if you just change a little bit of the stuff every time, you know, like, sorry, this mic keeps getting away from my face. If you change just a little bit of the velocities and the tuning and have it kind of loose, then it's gonna have more vibe, and people are gonna fuck with it harder. Because what is giving it is something that I call the X factor. It's a thing that you can't quite put your finger on that makes a song special. And there's so many things that go into that. It's all of the imperfections that make a piece of music awesome. And all the music that I hear that's like just perfect, I think it sounds honestly like sterile crap. And I'm not being mean about it. But it's subjective. Yeah, well, you know, everything is. Just moving around a beat. Notice that we have the grid off. I'm just slipping things around till they feel good. There's no grid on. And then like for this here, I might turn on the grid so I can just duplicate that over. But that whole loop, I don't even know why I'm working in a outside of that 3 bars. I'm working in this. Cool. There's some like cool reversing things happening here. Like what if the fucking kicks reversed into the kind of got like this thing. It's too quick. Let's just put in something that's got a little bit of movement going on here. Sorry, this is really boring, guys. I've honestly never done this before, where I've made something in front of other people to watch and had to talk about it at the same time. It's not that easy. It's not as easy as I would like it to be. It's tight. Let's fuck with it. There, I took the warp off and I just kind of like messed with this transpose thing till like it was stretched out and felt like cool. Pro tip, guys. You guys are like, did he just call himself a pro? I did. I decided I'm a pro. There's like some cool shit and some not so cool shit happening in here, so you know, we gotta turn this warp on and turn this grid off because we gotta slip some stuff around in here to get it to work. Some things are happening that shouldn't be happening. From maybe like some crackly vinyl and some crinkly paper, some ASMRS, whatever the hell it's called. I don't know what it's called. I actually have some of that shit in here too. It's so tasty. ASMR. Yeah, this is tight. I like went through YouTube because there's like a bajillion videos of people like crinkling paper and like touching their face into like a really loud condenser mic. And I just like basically just recorded a bunch of that shit in and then just like made all my own like one single sample pack to do it, just YouTube and an I Show You Capture software. Okay, so this is around the time where I'm like, cool, man, I have a cool atmosphere, and like, but I start to like not really understand where it's headed. I start to question what I'm doing. And at that point, I need to switch it up. So I grab this bass guitar that's sitting over here, and this is going to pop in your speaker, but I don't care. Hopefully that wasn't too painful. And this is where I would work on playing in some type of something. I know this is probably, what I'm doing is probably so unrelatable to like 95% of you, because I know so many people don't like use guitars or real basses in a lot of their productions anymore. I mean, everything's pretty in the box. And for me too, when I first got into electronic music, I abandoned the live instruments and the guitars and everything for years and years and years. Everything was just in the box all the time. And for me personally, as a result of that, my music was suffering severely. And it wasn't, it took me about 3 or 4 years to be like, geez, why can't I get stuff to feel right? And it was like, because you are playing literally nothing in. I'm drawing and everything, and I'm relying on synced, gridded LFOs and loops and stuff to like make my music sound honest and have feel. And I was like, that's not me. I'm not just, the way I feel and how I express myself instrumentally is not by drawing in shit and sitting there and messing with the sound for 9 hours to get it to feel right. It's about me performing something and translating it through actual human movement. Now, I write a lot of vocals, but I'm not like a great singer. So the only way I can really express it through my body is to play a bass or a guitar. So that's why you see me doing that stuff. Anyways, enough about that rant. If you're just drawing and stuff and programming sounds or whatever, like, and making it sound dope, more power to you. It doesn't work for me. I know it works for a lot of people. Anyways, let's record some stuff. So there's like a little bass lick. I don't want to spend 9 hours trying to write a bass lick here that I like. I want you guys to get something out of this. This is for you, not for me. I'm not doing this for me. So let's take the grid off and let's get this bass line to work with the drums. And the reason that this bass line is, since I don't have a click really going, made it much more difficult. Seeing as how I played that like shit, let's do it again. more sense if that is actually on the one right there. Because it's allowing it to kind of be loose, but it's still defining where those beats are. So me trying to be clever often doesn't always work out. Sometimes I get cocky about it, and I'll be like, yeah, this is going to be dope, and I'm such a good artist. And I'll be like, oh, none of that worked. Which is like 95% of the time, nothing works. But it's not about having it work out. It's about trying and experimenting with new things. Because if you're not trying to push yourself forward and push music forward, then what are you doing? This, I just kind of hate where this is happening. It's just too early, so I'm just gonna. Oh man, it's too late now. Yeah, there we go. So there's like a loop. We've got like a loop. And you know, I could go in and kind of start to like. And then I can start going in and actually structuring all this stuff. And, you know, that's hours and hours and hours of experimenting with structures and trying different things. But, you know, you can get a quick structure going. Start building up some drums. And the last thing I want to leave you guys with, I know you guys got to see me do kind of a creative workflow and talk some shit for a second, and that's all great, but I do want to say again that the stream of consciousness with the writing is crucial. Don't sit there and edit yourself. Like, if it's a bad performance, re-record it, and obviously, like, writing the melodies right and stuff, but when you're songwriting, focus on the songwriting, not the engineering, and let that happen a little bit later on. Like, just let the ideas flow. Feel free to try things. Don't be scared to try things, because what's the worst thing that could happen? They don't work. The magic's going to come when you don't expect it, and the magic's going to happen in the things that are kind of risky and crazy to think even about trying. So do it. Have fun writing. Stay loose. Drop me a comment. Drop a subscribe. Follow me on the Instagram, because that's where I talk to a lot of people, and that's a good place to hit me up and tell me what kind of content you would like to see me put up next. Is it mixing? Is it writing vocals? Is it sound designing basses? Mastering? Music industry advice? You tell me.